Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Two Bros Hot Takes, where we watch a movie and then tell you if you should watch a movie. I am your movie watching host, Older Bro.
I'm your other movie watching host, Younger Bro.
And today, we come with a very late hot take for a certain MCU movie, as we must always do.
Sorry, guys. Older Bro got sick for a week, and also we had a lot of things come up, like our aunt got a broken leg, and she usually helps our grandparents, and so they keep calling me. So now we're here.
Yeah, but we're here, and we have time to talk about ants and men and wasps, as is required.
All right. So, what did you think of the movie?
Well, I would say it was a good movie. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah, it definitely taps into the multiverse quite a bit.
Yeah, it's very clear that this phase of the MCU is the multiverse phase. That's clearly where they're headed for whatever their final villain is. Everyone keeps returning for something. We'll surely find out what they're returning for soon.
It's going to be grand, whatever it's about to be.
Yeah. So, but in terms of did I enjoy this movie? Absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to literally anyone that there's that Quantum Realm appears in a movie that's literally called Quantumania. So,
yeah, we finally get to see the Quantum Realm world.
Yeah, we see what the Quantum Realm looks like in a lot of detail, and
it's great.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
So. Yeah. Do you think it was better than the other two movies?
Better than the other two movies.
I thought 2 was pretty damn good. Like 2.
See, the problem is I struggle to remember 2, but
2 is when Scott was under house arrest because of Civil War.
Yeah, I just remember that happened, but like it's like I don't. That one, I remember enjoying that movie, but the problem is.
And they fought Ghost, who was an Iron Man villain.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like it. Yeah, I kind of just forget that movie happened. The first one was, I enjoyed. And the second one I do remember enjoying. So, and I think I did enjoy it a little bit more than the first one. But, so, I don't know if I would say this one's better than the second one, but it was definitely a good movie. Like, yeah, I enjoyed several of the characters in this movie, I will say.
Yes.
But I won't. I feel like that. I feel like there's in certain ways they could have been utilized better. So I'm not fully down with this movie, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
All right.
So,
yeah.
Why don't you say something about the movie, sir?
Well, I was waiting for you to get done talking. You were saying your mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I loved this movie. It's probably one of the better movies. I don't know if I consider it better than 2. 2 was pretty interesting, especially when they took a villain who was someone else's villain and made an Ant-Man villain.
Well, and that's the interesting thing, is that we keep thinking of all these characters like, well, this is an Iron Man villain, or this is an Iron Man hero, and it's like, but the comics don't give a shit about that. The comics just often have people go off, and it's just like, and the Flash is going to randomly fight this guy, and it's somebody who's not a Flash villain. He just shows up in this comic and is fighting Flash.
From my understanding of Ghost was typically only a Iron Man villain. Like, she rarely ever appeared in any other comic. Yeah. And if she did, it had something to do with Iron Man. Plus, it wasn't a she, it was a he.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I greatly enjoy the MCU just saying, we don't give a shit whose villain this is supposed to be or whose character this is.
We're just making the next phase, and it was centered around this character.
Not even just that, but yeah, it's that they're willing to say, we have an idea for this movie, and we have a villain for this movie, and it doesn't matter if it necessarily fits into the wheelhouse of the character normally. It's like, who gives a shit if Ghost is supposed to be an Iron Man villain or a Spider-Man villain or an Ant-Man villain? Who cares? As long as it makes sense in the movie why they're fighting that character, and there's a reasonable way the hero can defeat them, we don't really care.
But I guess it doesn't really matter. But I'm just saying, like, that's how it was in the comics, from my understanding. Yeah. But anyway, I enjoyed this movie. I loved it. Can't wait to see what this leads up to.
Yeah, at this point, that's what I'd say. Is right now, I'm more interested in what all these movies are leading up to than the movies themselves in certain situations.
By the way, guys, I've still yet to see some of the Disney Plus stuff, but we'll talk a little bit about some of the Disney Plus stuff that mattered to this movie later.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Well, you say later, but is there anything you actually have else to talk about that isn't in the spoiler section?
Besides that, this was a really, really good movie. No.
Yeah. So, I thought it was a good movie. I have some reservations about it, but like I thoroughly enjoyed watching it, and I would definitely recommend you watch it. It was a good movie. It well exceeds the Morbius test of whether or not you should go watch it. So, go watch it. If you, for some reason, haven't, we're very late on this movie, so I can't imagine that most of you haven't watched it, unless you have some blind hatred of Marvel because they continue making good movies. Like, I don't know. Just go watch the movie.
Well, Father has that hatred.
Yeah. I get
like
that some people get burnt out of watching the same kinds of movies over and over again. It's like, look, people keep watching the Fast and the Furious movies, and we keep watching the Marvel movies. And if you have a problem with one and not the other, then you are a hypocrite. Go watch the movie. Or hate every single repeated movie ever.
Alrighty.
So
yeah, because there's gonna be another Jurassic World trilogy, and I'm excited for that.
So yeah, my whole point of this is either hate every single sequel ever, or shut up when people enjoy a series and stop saying, "Well, but it's not new, it's not interesting anymore." It's just, no, you don't like sequels.
All right, this is going into a different kind of topic.
Yes.
All right, let's start
so
with
let's
Ant-Man.
get back to the movie.
All right, spoiler section starting now.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
To no one's surprise.
So, going into this movie, I knew next to nothing besides what I saw in the trailers. I always watch the trailers, guys.
And I don't. He's a trailer, and I am a blank slate.
So, I knew MODOK was going to be in it, and
Yeah.
I knew Kang was going to be in it, and that's about it.
Yeah. Had you just seen MODOK's armor, exterior armor, or did it show
exterior
his face?
armor, not
Okay.
the face.
Yeah, okay. Which I will say, I think that the facial design of MODOK, from my minimal knowledge of like seeing the games, it looked pretty much like MODOK.
Yeah.
It's like the character perfectly fit well with MODOK.
It's just what I didn't know was
who was MODOK.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Anyway, going into the movie.
Yeah.
So going into the movie, I know next to nothing about the quantum realm. The only thing I knew about it was how it kind of looked.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of the comics, photos of it, and yeah, it looks pretty similar.
Yeah. The one problem, and this is not a problem with this movie. I think this is a problem with the designs that people come up with quantum realm stuff. It kind of just starts looking like space eventually. Like once you get so small, everyone just kind of ends up making it look a lot like space. So part of the way through this movie, they get into this battle, and it's just like, this just feels like a space battle. It's just a space battle on a very, very tiny scale. But it's just, if you made this super big, it'd be, oh yeah, this is the Galactic Empire facing the Republic. It's like, it just kind of has that same feel because like it has a spacey design.
Yeah, so Cassie apparently is adopting a little bit of Lang's jail time tickets.
Is everything.
And
is that even a surprise?
So here's the big kicker.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of replaced her actor. So either they...
Well, I couldn't remember...
Okay.
I couldn't remember who played her in the original anyways, so...
No. Okay. So, in the original, they had a little girl play as Cassie.
In the first movie, it was literally a child.
Then,
like a young child.
Cut to Endgame.
Yeah.
And it is... Well, I think she'd be around the same age as Cassie and Ant-Man and the Wasp, but she totally looked much, much different than in Quantumania. So the only thing I can assume about it was that's her growing up, and Quantumania is a few more years later.
I think that's the intent, yes.
But let's just say Cassie is fully adult.
Let's assume.
She's a full adult, and
let's not say she's fully adulted. That has a different
I don't
context.
I
but
don't
I know
know
what
how
you
to
mean. I know
phrase
what you
it.
mean. But yeah,
She's
it's like,
all grown
yeah,
up.
she's fully yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I don't want
But
to I don't want to guess if they had some like actor drama in the background, which is why they got a different actor. I'm just assuming that they purposely chose a different actor for this role because they wanted her to look a little bit older.
yeah,
So,
that's the only thing I
if we're
think of.
wrong, we don't know. So who knows? Maybe you know.
Not really.
Well, I was meaning the audience,
the
but not
audience.
you. You just said you don't know. Why would I assume you knew?
Sorry, I thought you were talking to me. Anyways, so apparently Cassie is very, very smart. I know nothing about her from the comics at all. I didn't even know she existed. Like, I barely knew who Ant-Man was when I first saw him in the movies. Like, I knew he existed because of games I've played, but I've never.
Well, because I heard of like Giant Man.
Exactly.
But like
Giant Man's supposed to be Hank Pym. And
Yeah.
Hank Pym takes on an apprentice who is Scott Lang.
Yeah.
So the fact that Hank Pym wasn't Giant Man in the MCU like immediately, and they just went straight to Ant-Man, that was huge for me.
Yeah.
Because of all the animated movies I've seen, because it is Hank Pym and not Scott Lang. Yada yada yada. But regardless, I don't have a problem with that. I like how they did the MCU Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ant-Man kind of just became Giant Man in Civil War.
I mean, to be fair, there isn't really a reason why they can't be the same person. Like, especially in this universe where it's basically like they have like a little tablet kind of device that they just put on themselves and they grow or shrink. So it's like,
plus,
who gives a shit if he's a Giant Man or Ant-Man at any given time?
Like, Hank Pym is a totally different character.
Yeah.
Because Hank Pym is supposed to be younger. He's supposed to be in like his 30s.
Yeah.
And he's not. And they rewrote his character for Ant-Man.
Well, I'm pretty sure in some of the versions he's an old man, isn't he? Pretty sure I've seen him as an old man.
Maybe for movies that start in the future, but
I don't know.
I'm saying like he's usually in his not even late 30s, early 30s.
All right.
Like that's how old he usually is. But regardless.
Anyways.
Yeah, I knew none of the characters that appeared on screen for the first time in the Quantum Realm. I didn't exactly know who to be
I don't think you're
excited
supposed to. I'm
for.
pretty sure most of the Quantum Realm citizens were just random people.
But guys, they made it fucking
people.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed every minute when Scott
Make sure to
and
drink
Cassie
the ooze.
were reacting. That was interesting. I wasn't expecting that either.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, drink the ooze. Also, remember that buildings should be alive, not dead.
And Hank Pym was enjoying every minute of it. You can tell.
Yeah. Hank Pym. I think this is the movie where Hank Pym actually did become a hero and wasn't just a guy in the background. Like, I mean, he's done that before. Like, his backstory is that he was a hero. So
I was expecting him to suit up. I thought the ants were going to make him like a specialized suit.
Yeah, because it's like very clearly when they talked about how he lost his wife, he was being Giant Man, or he wasn't specifically being Giant Man.
No, he was the original Ant-Man.
Yeah, he just was the original Ant-Man, which I guess is what they're having Giant Man be now, basically. So, like, he was clearly a hero then, but this is the first movie where it's like he got out and did something that was like. That it really felt like he was super impactful to the immediate moment.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Later. But, yeah, the only thing I was really excited for was MODOK.
MODOK.
Well, MODOK. So, guys...
I'm assuming that acronym is supposed to be his acronym.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, the acronym I can't remember.
What I wasn't expecting was... Kang designed him, and he's Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, he's
in
just
disguise.
Yellow Jacket. It's not even in disguise. He just is Yellow Jacket, and he specifically is pissed off if you call him that. Well, I mean, specifically if you call him his actual name. They never actually call him Yellow Jacket in this movie.
But I didn't know that was the same person. I didn't think it was. Like, okay, so a little bit of MODOK's story from what I know about the guy who becomes MODOK. First of all, MODOK is like in the top 10 of the smartest beings in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
They made him a joke in 616.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a joke.
So
I mean, I wouldn't even say he's a joke. He was actually a pretty threatening villain.
he was.
So it's like, he's not even a joke in that sense. It's just that, like, he got shrunk down.
But he seemed stupid.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of because that guy is stupid. Like, Yellow Jacket was stupid, which is kind of the problem. They were like, hey, we want to have MODOK be in the quantum realm. And we just sent a guy into the quantum realm that would be intelligent 2 movies ago, so it would make sense if he was MODOK, and his face you could easily make his face look like MODOK, so it makes sense. But,
like,
yeah,
I didn't
that
hate,
guy's stupid.
I want to make clear, guys, I didn't hate it. But
yeah, it's not a bad interpretation, it's just like, what the hell?
I just wasn't expecting it. Like, the guy, so in the comics, the guy who becomes MODOK, he's not exactly a mad scientist, it's just, I think he was having some kind of mental issues, and he needed science to fix it, and he could do it.
Yeah.
Well, in doing so, he accidentally made himself the perfect killer, and it kind of made him insane.
Yeah. It's like...
But I had no idea that... like, guys, let me know in the comments below. Who is the original MODOK? Is it still Yellow Jacket? Because I don't know.
I'm very doubtful.
I just...
I can try to look this up, but I'm relatively certain I don't need to look up. That I don't need to tell you that either.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't there a MODOK thing in the MCU already? Didn't they do something with MODOK? Because I thought you told me they did something with him for like a short or something.
Yes, but it wasn't MCU. It was a new animated series.
Yeah. It's not MCU. It's just Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the MODOK they did was just a joke, and I think they did him well. Like, I didn't hate him. But it definitely wasn't the more threatening and definitely more smart MODOK that we are usually used to. Because the MODOK I know is actually a fucking threat. But yeah, this MODOK, he didn't seem like a threat. I'm sorry, he just was a joke. And I'm fine with making him a joke because he is a giant egghead. What more do you want?
I mean, yeah, he's literally a floating fucking head.
And they make fun of that every fucking time.
Yeah, of course they would. He has baby legs. Like, what the fuck else are you gonna say about him? You see him and you're like, you're a floating head with baby legs. Why am I supposed to be scared of you?
Anyways, so... there's a lot that happened in the movie, guys, but a lot of the stuff I could talk about, I just don't know how to talk about it because, again, a lot of these characters that we see in the Quantum Realm, I have no idea who they are. The only 2 I was aware of was Kang and MODOK. And so we just got through talking with MODOK, and we're skipping through the film because I don't...
So, it looks like, for MODOK, the first original MODOK was a employee of AIM.
Yes.
So, wasn't AIM the one...
AIM was the Mandarin in Tony Stark,
the
Iron Man 3.
real fake Mandarin. Like,
and I don't know if AIM is still around.
Yeah, but they're normally where MODOK comes from. But I can also imagine, like, former PIM employee. They fit a very similar role of, like, former scientist thrown out by boss because of doing something stupid. So it's like, it's fine. Like, it's just weird that it's him. Like,
yeah.
It's like, because it's not, normally I think it's supposed to be a normal guy. Like, it's not like a villain who becomes MODOK. It's just a guy who gets turned into MODOK. So it's like, he's nobody until he becomes MODOK.
Yeah, he basically accidentally makes himself...
Yeah, in this case, it's another villain who gets shrunk down, and the shrinking just doesn't work correctly. So he's turned into MODOK. It's like, what the fuck?
Let's work with
Whatever. Yeah, it's like, it makes sense, but it's weird.
But what was even more interesting was the end battle where he rebelled against Kang.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
I want to say, I did enjoy it, but I do want to asterisk this of, I really don't like that every single movie needs to have, like, here's this character who was evil, and now we're going to use him one time as being good before he dies.
I know.
It's like, I don't like that trope. I get that people can decide to stop being a piece of shit. And this movie has a very good message about it's never too late to stop being a dick. It's a fine message.
At least he died an Avenger.
No. But sure, man, you do you. But no. So it's like, yes, that's all true. And if it was just once or twice every so often, it'd be fine. But every single fucking story thinks that they're the first ones to think of this. And that, well, they were a villain, and it would make sense that they could help in this scene, so let's just change them into a hero, and then they die, so we don't have to have the consequences of changing them into being a hero. If you're gonna commit to a heel turn, or what's the opposite of a heel turn? Because it's like a heel turn is where you go from being a hero to a villain. This is the opposite. If you're gonna commit to that, don't kill them. And then have them have to deal with the fact that they were a piece of shit before being a villain, and now they're not a villain, and people are still gonna treat them like a piece of shit.
Yeah. Here's the thing. So, yes, I was mad that MODOK was killed too, a little. But
and that was one of the things that did definitely disappoint me about this movie, because MODOK is one of those people I don't know much about, but I also know he's one of those people who usually doesn't go away that easily.
No.
He kind of is just around all the damn time. So it's like, it'd be like if they introduced Brainiac and then killed Brainiac in a DC movie immediately. It's like, what? You can't just do that.
But here's the thing. Marvel and DC have excuses because our 616 MODOK, that is the 616 MODOK.
Yeah.
He died, but they could bring MODOK back for something bigger when they have multiverse travels.
Yeah,
and
it's
in
not
that
that they
universe,
can't do that, but it's just
the MODOK that we know.
Yeah, it just feels like a bit of a waste of MODOK. I would have preferred if MODOK escaped somehow and like got out of the quantum realm and we had to deal with him later.
Yeah, by the way, it is confirmed that the Kang that Ant-Man fights is the 616 Kang.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I'm only saying that because in one of the Disney Plus films we see Kang for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the 616 Kang. Oh. No.
A
different Kang. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty much most of this movie is just exploring the quantum realm a little bit, leading up to the fight with Kang. So let's talk about how Kang got there. So Kang was exiled from them. And them is multiple different versions of Kang.
Yeah, I wanted to be. The movie doesn't very much make this clear until the very end.
Yes, very end. Post-credits scene.
Because is them the actual name of the fucking organization?
No.
Are they just called them?
No.
Like, because they say that, they say something like that randomly, where it's like, oh yeah, I got exiled by my people or something, and they don't fucking explain what that is. They just kind of randomly expect you to know.
So, what I know about Kang is he can travel the multiverse via different kinds of vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, his main vehicle.
He is effectively Dr. Fate. Or, well, not Dr. Fate, it's, is it Dr. Fate? Who's the one? No, it's, he's effectively Darkseid or something.
He's Darkseid, yes.
It's like,
in a way.
Except Darkseid actually is kind of better than Kang, because Darkseid is not multiple people.
No,
there is a single Darkseid who just like clones, like sends like avatars of himself
throughout
everywhere.
The multiverse. Yes,
there are multiple Kangs, so he's just inherently worse.
All right, so our version of Kang wanted to fight against all these other Kangs, and by the way, I had to look this up a little bit. So they're called the Council of Kangs. And
okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
they
don't say that in the movie, which would have been nice.
They are all of the multiverse's Kangs into one collection.
Yeah,
one council.
It's literally Rick and Morty.
Yes. Well,
It's the Citadel.
What's even more interesting is in one of the Disney Plus stories, he conquered time, and that's what led to the Time Patrollers for the MCU, but I can't remember who they're called. I'm blanking on it. Anyways, so he conquered the Time Patrol and stored himself in like this little pocket dimension.
Yeah.
Where he was killed, and I thought that was the 616 Kang, and
Still no.
No. But anyway, that Kang and the one that got exiled, both of them had the same goal, sort of, and that was to prevent other versions of himself from conquering other worlds and destroying them. And that's...
Yeah, but his way of doing that is by destroying all the other worlds.
Yeah, and so endless issues.
It's not just destroy. Like, he's not Rick. Rick doesn't go around saying, I'm going to destroy every multiverse to prevent me from taking control of them. He would just kill the other Ricks. Like...
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so it's like, he could just easily do that.
But anyways, so there was a lot of mention of incursions.
Yeah.
And once again, incursions are when multiple universes collide.
Yeah.
Well, it just has to be more than one.
Yeah.
And we saw what an incursion looked like in Multiverse of Madness, where Doctor Strange saw Dark Strange.
Yep. Again, I want to make clear that in that movie, I'm still kind of, it makes perfect sense, but I'm still kind of sad about the loss of Wanda.
Yeah, the 616 Scarlet Witch.
It made perfect sense how Scarlet Witch got there. I'm not saying it wasn't logical that she turned villain after everything, but it's just like...
The problem the MCU had was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch had to be rewritten as characters. So technically, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver we know from the comics and the animated shows are not the same people.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. Again,
which sucks.
I don't care if they're the same people. Because again, 616 just says, we need a character for this plot, and we can make them a hero or villain as needed, and put them in whoever's camp is needed to make the stories all work well. It's like, and I'm fine with that. I don't mind that they had to cut out all the Fox owned mutant bullshit from Wanda and Quicksilver. To be fair, they've been trying to move Wanda out of the mutant category for quite a while now. So she already is kind of not related to Quicksilver anyways. So
no, they are. They're still siblings.
No.
Actually, yeah, they're still siblings.
No, actually no. Because I had to look this up. They specifically retconned that. She is not related to Quicksilver. Because she is not... Who is it? Magneto?
Magneto.
She's not Magneto's daughter.
Doesn't matter. They're still siblings.
They're still
not
siblings,
they
but they're
are not
related.
No.
Like
in WandaVision, they explain this. They are still brother and sister. They are just not Magneto's children. That is what was rewritten.
Right. But what I'm saying is that in the comics, they very specifically rewrote it so that only Wanda isn't his child. Quicksilver still is. Because they specifically have a line where Magneto says that she isn't his daughter. But Quicksilver is, because he can still control Quicksilver or whatever the fuck. But he can't do that to her. So I'm saying, comic-wise, they are not actually siblings.
Yes, but this is
in
MCU.
616, they still are, just Magneto's not here. Because Magneto doesn't exist yet. So... But yeah, anyways, I know they had to rewrite the characters, and I don't mind that, because, like, so, who cares? But I'm just sad that we lost. Like, it was sad that we lost Quicksilver, but whatever.
I hated that Quicksilver died in the first place in Ultron, and I was expecting to see him in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And the only time you see him again is in WandaVision, who isn't even the real person.
No.
But they did get that same actor.
Well, yeah.
Well,
you have to.
No, not exactly the same actor. They got Fox's actor to play Quicksilver.
Where did you get your own actor? You had him.
You know the guy that had his famous Quicksilver scene where he puts on his beats and he's going around the kitchen? Yeah, they got him.
Why didn't you just get your Quicksilver?
Because he's dead.
Oh, okay.
But
well, hold on. The actor or the character? The character I know is dead.
The character is dead, so they recasted him.
Yeah, but it's like, but they need to recast him. She's remembering him from her own mind.
It actually wasn't her that did it. It was Agatha Harkness. But
well, yeah, but she still was remembering it from Wanda. Like
it was a weird situation that you just have to watch.
Yeah, I've not
for.
seen I've not seen that movie.
I
know enough about it where, well, yeah, I know the TV series. I don't care. But point is, I know enough about it that I get why she turned, and it makes sense. But I'm just sad that we lost her.
I am
because
too.
she would be very great in this arc. This arc is literally built for her and, like, I guess now Ant-Man somehow.
Yeah, both Quicksilver and
definitely Doctor Strange.
Both Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were the only two mutants we really had in the MCU, and they're all dead. They even got Xavier in the MCU, sort of. It was in a different universe, and he's dead too.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is I think that Wanda isn't even a mutant anymore. I think that she's been retconned out of being a mutant, even in the MCU. In the MCU, no one's a mutant yet, but like Quicksilver, I think, still was supposed to be one. It's unclear.
They can finally use the term mutant because
they can.
Kang is a mutant.
Yeah, they can now use it. But I'm saying, I think...
Sorry, no. Namor's a mutant.
Yeah. But, no.
What better way to introduce mutants but to start with the first mutant that was introduced, Namor.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense. But yeah, it's definitely a weird situation, because Marvel for quite a while has been trying to split mutants off. They're trying to put a dividing line between mutants and sorcerers. Sorcerers are a completely different power source, completely unrelated to mutants and any other power sources. So it's like, Wanda's kind of been pushed into that category now, where she isn't even a mutant. She just is a sorcerer. Or I guess she could be a mutant with sorcery powers.
She's witchcraft.
Yeah, sorry. Because they divide those two. There's now sorcery and witchcraft. And she's in charge of the witchcraft half of their magic system. And Strange is in charge of the sorcery half of their witchcraft or their magic system. So, point being that she's not a mutant, or at least doesn't have the mutant powers. She just has the sorcery / witchcraft. So it's like, she would have been very good for this upcoming arc, which is clearly all about the mystic arts.
Yeah. By the way, so let's talk more about Kang here for a second.
Yeah.
Kang's ship is vastly different from the one in the comics.
Oh, I imagine.
So, the one in the comics, it is a large-ass vessel that looks like a fucking sword.
Yeah. Yeah, this is nowhere close to that.
And it travels in the multiverse, and it can even connect multiverses. In fact, Kang's ship is the reason why Miles Morales ends up in 616 for a little bit.
Which also might be the reason why, well, I guess it's probably not the reason why
it's probably
Venom's going to end up in 616, but, like, it's
probably going to be one of them.
Yeah. Like, very clearly,
Kang
is the thing that's coming. Or something related to Kang's issues is the reason something's coming.
What's even more interesting about Kang is he was portrayed at one point to have the power to willfully, like, reset time or reset time around you.
Yeah.
And
because he basically becomes Darkseid.
And the best way you can see that in any media is actually in Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, where what he does is his wife, who we still haven't seen yet, I think her name's Crystal. So she usually rebels against Kang multiple times.
Yeah.
Throughout her entire life, but he always keeps her alive. We've still yet to see her.
Can't kill somebody if we never see them.
I think it's mainly because she's a mutant. No, she's an Inhuman, actually.
Yeah.
So she's an
Which
Inhuman.
is also a different thing.
Well, the Inhumans were also owned by Fox as well.
Yeah, but I'm saying, it's like, what the fuck's the difference between the mutants and the Inhumans? Don't answer the question.
But anyway, he restarts time because he liked something that she said, and he heard it again.
I want to hear my wife say that again.
Yes, and that happened. He does. It's fucking hilarious, but he has that kind of power.
Yeah, he has Darkseid level of power, but not Darkseid levels of existence. Because that's the thing about Darkseid. He is basically God. He literally exists outside of time and space. He basically can't enter a universe because doing so would destroy it. So he just kind of creates a miniature him that he sends to do his job. So he just kind of, like, that's almost what Kang is. It's just that power is split between a trillion Kangs.
Yeah.
So it's like there isn't one Kang to rule them all.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with Kang. And it's definitely going to start the multiversal war.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's exactly going to happen. It seems like it's going to be a very, very grand scale for what they're setting up for.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk about his ship a little bit.
It's basically just a chair.
It's a chair now.
It's literally just a
chair.
He sits in it, and it's a chair.
It was a little disappointing, but for all we know, the Kang that we're going to see try to conquer 616 will have the ship I'm describing.
I was going to say, it might be a situation where this is a specialized vessel just meant for this Kang and is not his normal vessel.
Yeah.
So in fact, I'm going to bet that.
So yeah, we even get to see a little bit of how Janet met Kang, how she found out, who he really is, how powerful he is. Like, it's a whole ordeal. They just have to.
It's very interesting seeing somebody who is very clearly just God, just like how his brain works, because his entire thought process throughout this entire movie as he's trying to get Janet is he gets her, and then just like, so what the hell? Yeah, so basically just, so what did it feel like to, like, what did you see when you saw all of me? And it was just like, and then it's just like, and then later on she's talking about how, like, oh, trillions upon trillions of people are going to die, and it's like, that's not consequential. And it's like, so why the fuck did you care so much what she saw? How is that possibly consequential? And not all the lives of everyone in every universe? Like, how in the fuck do you consider that consequential? But all these other people that you're killing because you just don't want to go kill all the other Kangs, that's not consequential in any way.
No, he does want to defeat all the other Kangs, but
I just don't. Yeah, it's like it doesn't make his plot doesn't make sense. I mean, okay, his plot makes sense if every Kang was tied to their own universe, and when their universe died, they died or something. Then it would make sense. But it's just literally like, I see that they're doing this evil stuff, or they're doing this stuff that's going to cause the death of every person in every universe. So I'll just cause the death of every person in every universe. That way, they're not causing the problem. I'm causing the problem. It's like, what kind of fucking logic is that? It's this just
yeah.
His logic is just completely nonsensical.
Like, he is just born a conqueror.
Yeah,
and conquering
and I get that.
is all he knows.
I know, but it's just like, why don't you want to go conquer all your brethren, which would make more sense? Because that's a challenge. How is defeating Iron Man for the 9,000th time a challenge to you?
Oh, the actor who plays Kang actually wants to fight Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man.
Of course he does.
I'm sure when universes collide, I want to see Superior Iron Man. And
I'm sure that'll happen just as soon as The Rock gets to fight Superman.
I'm sure maybe he will fight Superman, but probably won't be
Cavill.
Yeah. That's disappointing.
Yeah. Anyways.
Regardless, oh man, it's a mindfuck.
Yeah, and to be fair, a movie that's all about a character who literally exists outside of time and space and can't die and can't age and just exists. Yeah, that kind of is a mindfuck. Also, you're in the quantum realm, which is also a mindfuck. So this entire movie is a mindfuck.
No,
good, but a mindfuck.
He can die. It's just very difficult.
I was gonna say, I can't. Well, yeah, he can be killed, but I don't think he ages. He doesn't really. He just kind of exists in time.
Anyway, let's skip a little bit into the part where we're at the war and Ant-Man is fighting Kang.
Yeah.
So Ant-Man is fighting Kang because Ant-Man thinks Kang still has Cassie, who he was holding hostage. Also, she has her own suit too, but I don't know Cassie's hero name.
I don't think she has one, or at least not yet.
If she does have one, I've no clue what it is.
Well, let's see. We can't use ants. We can't use wasps. We can't use scorpions. She's blue. Scarab is taken, isn't it? What's the name of the one in DC? That's the Blue Beetle. It's just the Blue Beetle. Shit.
It's just Blue Beetle.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know any blue, like, insects.
For all we know, she's called Tic Tac.
What?
Or
she's
little
blue.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna go with an insect, since they're literally Ant-Man, Wasp, Scorpion, Hornet.
I think it might be Hornet, but
It's
Yellow
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket. Sorry, I guess Scorpion's not actually one of them. It's Yellow Jacket. Whatever.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know, but it's some insect.
But anyway, I love her suit. It's so fun to
Maybe
watch
Dragonfly.
her. It's so fun to watch her struggle to fight.
Yep. It's just jump, get big, and punch. I don't understand how you're struggling with this.
Jump and tap.
Yeah, jump and tap. Jump and tap.
So good. Yeah, so I don't even know if Cassie Lang can fly. I don't think we ever saw her fly.
I don't think she has wings.
Yeah. She can't fly.
Well, because I don't think Scott has wings, does he? Or at least he doesn't use them, if he does.
Okay, so Hank Pym said Ant-Man could fly if he wanted him to.
Yeah, he
just
doesn't. Yeah. So, like, I think her suit just doesn't have wings, or she can barely fight, so I doubt she's good enough to use wings anyways.
He's good enough to actually fly. By the way, I love Wasp's suit, because they actually made it look more like the comics.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I looked at her, I'm like, she just looks like Elsa from Pokemon in black and white.
Sure.
But still, the suits were amazing.
Yeah.
The design was great. Anyway, probably the best moment when they're fighting Kang. So Kang is gunning down all these civilians, fighting against him.
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't gun them down. That was something I noticed in the movie. So Kang does not kill people. He shrinks them down. That's why they're the only ones who can fight him. He can't harm them. Well, I mean, he can, but like, that's why whenever you see them, they just kind of disappear, because they're shrinking. He invaded their world, like, that's all these people. He invaded their world, and it shrunk them. That's why they're here. Like that's his power source. That's why every time he hits any of the Ant-Man people, they shrink. Because when he first hits them, and they shrink down, and then Hank comes in, they're tiny and have to get bigger. And every time he uses that attack on them, they shrink.
Yeah, that's just showing that they're taking damage.
No, they don't. That's not how that works. They don't get smaller when they take damage. That's him. He has the power to just shrink people. That's how all these quantum citizens got here, is because he invaded their planet and shrunk them. And now they're in the quantum realm. Otherwise, how would they get here?
He didn't invade them at all.
Yes, that was their plot. They literally said, he stole our homes. Well, they weren't always here.
Yes, but his intention was to never conquer it until he was stuck there. So he conquered it.
No. I'm saying I don't think any of the quantum people are from the quantum realm. I think every single one of them are from our realm. And he shrunk them.
No.
Anyways, that's beside the point. Getting back to talking about the fight.
No. Anyway, so, anyway, probably the best scene when they're fighting Ant-Man is not when they're shrinking, being hit by him, because that's just what happens when they get hit.
I'm telling you, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they shrink from their normal size to smaller size when they get hit?
That has happened before, I'm telling you.
Doesn't make sense.
Anyways, The best scene was during this movie, Hank Pym had some very, very intelligent ants that shrunk with them when they went to the quantum realm, and they built a society, and now they're like sentient ants. Well, Hank Pym just freaking walks into the battlefield with droves of the new ant society behind him, and he's just walking casually. He's like, "Am I late?"
Yeah, I like
that was
yeah,
the
it
best
was so
scene
good.
in
I
the
also love
movie.
the fact that one of the things I really liked from this movie was that Kang very obviously knows who Ant-Man is. But initially,
Yeah, he's like, "Have I killed you before?"
yeah, initially he just feigns not knowing who the guy is. Then he literally calls him Ant-Man without being told who he is, and then he literally during the final fight is
No, when Ant-Man was in the jail, Ant-Man told Kang who he was.
No, he did not. But that's not the point. He also specifically says, like, your whole thing is ants. And
and that's when
he had
Hank
to have gotten
Pym-
super pissed off when he literally got defeated by an army of fucking ants. It's just like, are you kidding me?
That's really
It's so damn good.
Yeah, because the ants started to drag him away after Modark lowered Kang's shield. It was so good. And Hank Pym just walking in, that was the best scene in the entire fucking movie. Oh, it was so great. But anyway, what I was disappointed with was I thought Hank Pym was going to actually suit up. I was wrong. The character I saw in Marvel Contest of Champions, well, the character I saw that was added to that game, I thought it was Hank Pym in his new suit because, they did a collaboration with the new Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Nah, it is the future Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Not the 2099 version of Ant-Man, no. This is just the future Ant-Man. From the future comics of 616, I think. But I'm not too sure. Anyway, I thought I was going to see that suit and that suit was going to look so dope. No, it's not. Not Hank Pym.
Yeah.
But anyway. So Ant-Man manages to defeat Kang, not easily though.
Yeah.
Like, Ant-Man was going to die, but he had one ace up his sleeve. He had the Kang's power source to his chair, and he used that against Kang, and we're assuming that 616 Kang is dead.
Yeah.
Because it blew up in his face.
Well, see, what I don't understand, because this was also something I didn't really get with this movie. They're all like, oh yeah, he died. And it's like, no, he didn't. They very clearly used more shrinking stuff on him. So they basically just shrunk him down to the quantum realm.
Yeah, they
even show, like...
They trapped him within his engine core.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, but dude, this man is ultra hyper intelligent. I'm pretty sure he can figure out a way out of this. He very clearly is not dead. Even though they literally say he is, I have zero belief that he is dead. No way.
If he is,
if he is, then that scene was very not done well, because it very clearly looked like they shrunk him down. And if that was supposed to be like he died in that shot and scene, it's like that was not clearly communicated.
Yeah, because Ant-Man goes into that engine core.
Yeah. So it's like
he didn't die, so I could see Kang being a more powerful being not dying from that.
Well, and because the one in credit bit is even that same guy, isn't it? Is that supposed to be the same
That
Kang?
was the Council of Kangs, not the same Kang.
No. I mean the one that specifically is in, like, 20th century England or whatever.
Oh, with Loki.
Isn't that specifically the same Kang?
No.
That is a different Kang.
Different Kang. Because in Loki, he gets sent to another dimension.
Perfect.
Like, Loki, he becomes an agent of the Time Patrollers. I'm just using that because I can't remember.
An agent of Space Shield.
Yeah, so Loki and Mobius, not Morbius, Mobius, Agent Mobius, looks like they reestablished their friendship after Loki got transferred to another universe.
Yep. I mean,
So
technically, he was always from a different universe because he's not supposed to be from whatever.
well, all the time patrollers are from different universes. Technically, it's weird. You'd have to watch Loki to figure it out.
Yeah.
But regardless, so we're looking at Loki and Mobius, and Loki's like, "Yep, that's him. That's Kang." So they're clearly setting up for a multiverse event. I think that Kang, since they're in like a very, very
Yeah, it's like 20s or so. It's very old.
not 20s. I'd say maybe it actually looked like it could have been around 1890s, around there.
No, that had talking pictures, and that was much newer than that. Anyways, it's like
Maybe
it's like 1800s or 1900s.
somewhere in there.
So
It's
2000s.
cowboy times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I almost want to say maybe that's the Spider-Man Noir universe, but I doubt it.
No.
I just think it's in the past of a different universe. I don't know which it is. But I don't know what they're gonna do with Kang. Like, so when this incursion event happens, are we just going to see all universes collide again? Because I know they want to bring back Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, so they're probably going to bring him back for that. Andrew Garfield, we're going to see probably everybody.
Yeah, it's like
including
we might literally see
Venom,
a lot
Tom
of
Hardy.
everybody.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be interesting.
They're definitely it definitely seems like Kang is actually going to be the next threat, or at least the Council of Kangs is going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
Which I know because I literally just looked up the movie, and the next Avengers movie is literally called, like, the Council of Kang. So, yeah, it's the next movie.
Well, next Avenger movie.
Yeah. So it's like it very clearly is what they're setting up for.
So, let's talk about the Council of Kang real quick here.
Yeah.
So the Council of Kang, we see an Egyptian Kang. We see. I honestly want to describe him as like Wakandan Kang.
Pretty sure there's a Kree Kang in there somewhere.
I want to talk about the three main ones, and we see a robotic Kang.
Yeah.
I think that robotic Kang is from the 2099 universe.
It could be an Ultron Kang for all we know.
But I don't know. He looked very futuristic.
Yeah.
So I'm connecting him to maybe 2099.
Could be.
But we see multiple different versions of Kang.
It's basically
like
every
all
Kang.
of them.
It's the Citadel. It's every single Kang.
So again, I talked about Kang being in Loki.
Yeah.
So that Kang I thought was 616 because he conquered the 616 timelines.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was he took all of time and he made it completely straight.
Yeah.
Like, so there's no issues. And removing him, well, issues started to happen all over the place again.
Wait, removing who? Himself?
Well, he died. That Kang
Kang,
died.
Kang. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, with that Kang gone, you could see that the timeline was crackling and it was splitting off. It wasn't necessarily destroying, it was just splitting into multiple of the different timelines. That's when other versions of Loki were born, because we see multiple different ones. We see Croc Loki, we see Young Loki, all of them.
Somebody literally just posted in my chat group something about liking Croc Loki. So the absolute timing on that statement.
What I think is interesting about Croc Loki, I don't know, but he could be from Spider-Ham's universe.
Yeah, I can see it.
But if that's true, then how the hell did he end up in 616?
Good question.
Well, okay, it wasn't technically 616. Where Kang was located was also outside of time where he could see all of time.
Sorry, it's Alligator Loki.
Yeah, there was a Kang below 616 and there was a Kang above 616.
So 617 and 615.
Well, we had 616 in the quantum realm, and whatever that Kang was that governed over time, he was on a grander scale.
Well, I think the 616 Kang is on that grander scale. It's not like there's a quantum Kang and then a normal size Kang and then a bigger even more Kang. It's just that there's one Kang per universe. This one was just trapped in the quantum realm.
Yeah, plus that Kang above the 616 Kang could have been a variant of the 616 Kang, and it was the same Kang.
Yeah, it could also just be that they have like a Citadel thing where a Kang is the leader of all Kangs. So he's just a specific Kang that's not 616.
Yeah, I don't know
sorry
enough
that I keep
about
making Rick and Morty references, but I'm literally trying to describe a
What we saw.
multiversal event, and that's the best thing to describe it as.
So, I want to say that when this happens, again, all of our MCU people that we've seen, we're going to see them again, but I'm wondering who they're going to introduce. Because if they do Kang,
question.
are we going to see Miles Morales then? Are we going to see maybe Spider-Gwen? Are we going
I'm gonna guess
see Superior Iron Man?
I'm gonna guess that they aren't gonna do that many introductions. I'm gonna guess they're gonna bring a lot of people back, in quotes, from alternate universes, and then
That's probably going to happen too.
After that event, we might start seeing people appear like Miles Morales, not from that event, but from the consequences of that event. Like where we start seeing mutants show up because they found their way here. We see Venom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about What If for a second.
Yeah.
So, in What If, there is a... I feel like this is like an honorable mention. So, in What If, there is a universe where zombies happen, and that's the Marvel Zombie comics.
Yeah.
If you don't know them, read them. They're fucking amazing. But there's like 3 different versions of them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, technically What If's version is the 4th version. Because it's also different from the comics. So, by the end of the Marvel Zombies comics, the Marvel Zombies actually have a keen awareness, in a way. And they eventually stop eating each other. But there's also another one where they travel to multiple different universes and spread their chaos. So there's more than one zombie universe. I can't remember the 3rd version, but the What If version, I feel like it's mentionable because it has to do with the quantum realm.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the What If scenario, Janet Van Dyne, she gets the quantum virus, which is apparently zombie stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, she bites Hank Pym, and they were actually smart enough to travel back and get Hope and Scott, Ant-Man and Wasp. So then they started plaguing the entire world, and by the end of the war, not many people left. There was some callbacks to the comics where instead of Hank Pym, who is a zombie, is feeding off of T'Challa trying to find a cure, it's Vision using T'Challa to feed the Scarlet Witch, who's zombified. And the only ones left are Spider-Man. Somehow, Scott, Ant-Man, he lives. Like, he was a zombie, and then he was cured. Vision found a cure, sort of. And guess how he did it? With the Mind Stone. So, Vision sacrifices himself, gives the Mind Stones to Spider-Man, who is not a zombie. He was supposed to be, but I guess in this case, they're like, who's going to be the person who saves everyone? You know what? Let's give it to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's going to somehow find a cure for everybody, but it's going to be rough because they got to Thanos and the Black Order, so now they're zombified. And Thanos has like 4 of the 6 Infinity Stones.
There's so much wrong with this.
So
that's fucked up.
I hope that it goes well, but I think the zombies are learning in a way. I think they have some kind of smartness, because how the hell did Hank Pym and Janet be able to travel back from the quantum realm if they didn't do it themselves?
So, I don't know. Anyways, can we get back to talking about this movie and finishing up this?
I kind of wanted to mention it because there's no mention of that at all in this movie, because it's just a what if scenario.
Yeah.
But technically it did happen, because what if is us viewing the multiverse.
Yeah.
And one of those what-if scenarios actually had to do with Ultron and how he killed everybody. Like that one movie that me and you enjoyed as a kid. But anyways. So, yeah. Is there really anything else? We've talked about the Council of Kangs, how they're setting up for that.
Oh yeah, the one that the thing that like made us both go, what the fuck, was the very end. That like we're watching the final scene. They're showing off the Kang scene with Loki, and we're at that part where they're like, oh yeah, Ant-Man will return. No. Ant-Man will not return. Kang will return. Ant-Man is not returning.
I thought that was funny.
What the fuck do you mean?
I think Ant-Man's gonna actually return. They just did that as a joke.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's what all this setup is for the Avengers fighting the Council of Kangs.
But yeah, I don't know enough about the Council of Kangs and this comic book incursion event. The little I know is that multiple versions of Spider-Man end up in 616 by accident, and that's usually Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales.
Yep, makes sense.
And then after that happens, I think that goes into the Spider-Man multiverse stuff with Madam Web.
Yeah.
Oh, we're waiting.
That's already being set up. Like, that's happening in the background of the Sony portion of the universe.
I really hope so. Like, I don't know if Sony's going to do Madam Web first, but
I think you're implying that they're not going to be the same thing. I think they're just going to say, you know what? Disney is getting a lot more control of the movies with their revenue split. So it's I definitely think that with this agreement, it's that we're going to end up having a coordination.
Well, what's interesting about Madam Web is she doesn't just focus on the Spider-Man stuff, but she usually has to work with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's when she usually appears.
Yep. So, we'll see.
She can look into different realities at will.
Yeah.
And it's not just Spider-Man. She can see every reality and also predict anything that could happen in her reality. Like, she knows pretty much everything. She's one of the smartest beings in the universe.
She is basically a god.
But she mainly comes up when Spider-Man is talked about.
Yep.
So I'm praying that when we do fully get to see Otherworld, I want to see 616 Spider-Man do a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Like, we got a taste of it.
Because isn't that the whole point behind the Spider Sense? The Spider Sense is basically just Madam Web, in a sense. Like, it's literally just they are reacting to something that's about to happen.
No, Madam Web, she doesn't have a spider sense. She just knows.
No, I'm saying she is the Spider Sense. Like, she basically can see all things and know what's about to happen. And, like, that's kind of like, I'm saying that's kind of the lore behind the Spider Sense. Is basically just her pushing the feeling that, hey, you're about to be attacked, to the Spider-Man at the right time. So there's like, oh.
No, I don't.
Because that's the whole point behind why she's called Madam Web. It's the web of all Spider-Men. She can see everywhere, but it's because Spider-Man's in the universe that she can see them.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that.
I don't know. It feels like that's how they're thematically theming it. If they're not, I'm kind of sad.
Plus, I hope they do Madam Web well, because the Madam Web I know and love, she's an old woman who's sitting in literally a chair, and you can see dimensions around her.
I mean, it makes sense.
But there's also another version where she is very young, and she sort of is a hero and can fight. Yeah. The Madam Web I know just is a figurehead.
Yeah, she is the leader of this Council of Spider-Man.
Yeah, and she can actually talk. She can talk with any Spider-Man throughout the multiverse.
Yeah.
Like, just talk with them. It's interesting.
Okay,
so,
anyways,
sorry, guys.
We have gotten very off topic, and this video is over an hour long. So is there anything else about this movie so that we can stop this video?
Look, it's setting up for the multiverse, and I'm basically predicting what they're going to do.
But yeah.
And I'm hopeful that's what they do.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else in this movie. All of the other stuff we were saying is basically speculation.
Yeah, which is normal for us, but
All right.
Yeah, we've definitely been going for quite a long time. I think we should end it. So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. We will come back next time with a new hot take. Probably going to be like one of like a handful of movies that are out right now or about to come out. So
Yeah, there's
I'm sure
quite
you
a
could
few
probably
movies.
guess what movies we're going to watch. There's probably like
Maybe.
3. So who knows? We don't know yet. You don't know yet. But we'll see you on the next hot take.
Goodbye.